Yeah.
I used to go on social media and find like funny things, like funny videos and everything. And
Mhm.
now everything is, it was just so negative. But that also was during a really negative time in the world. Like so much stuff was going on that that's
Right.
all people really wanted to post about.
What is up? What is up, my podcast people? Welcome back to the what episode is this? This is 23. Welcome back to the Cam Chronicles. How y'all doing? Hopefully you're having a great Sunday or Monday, Tuesday, whenever you are watching this. But as you can see, we have another special guest on the show, and I'm gonna let her introduce herself right now. We have Miss Damaris Stone. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name's Damaris. I am, did I just say like school and all that stuff? Just
Yeah,
regular
you can
things?
say,
Okay.
where you going to school, what you do at your not what you do at your job, just give a job title right now and we'll get into that.
Okay. So currently I am on my last year at IUPUI. I work, so at the moment I'm a site coordinator for one of our school sites, or to be more relatable, a director at a
Okay.
school.
Mhm.
I am a transfer student. I first attended Indiana State University and then I
Right.
transferred, I think, about 2 years ago to IUPUI. What else about me? I think that's pretty
That's
much
good.
it. I work
That's
in school.
that's good. Yeah, I know. What else? What else is new, right? The all right, so let's go a little bit into this here. So, what walk us through the decision. I know you said you're a transfer student from Indiana University. Walk us through that decision. And yeah, I don't know. Walk us through that decision. This is new information to me personally. I've been friends with Damaris for a long time, but we haven't gotten to catch up in a while. It seems like a reoccurring thing, but yeah, go
I
ahead.
know. So I was at Indiana State for about 3 years.
Hmm.
Um, it was cool at the beginning. I mean, being completely transparent, it is a very big party school, so it's
Right.
like a lot happens in the campus. And it was okay. And then I got older, and I just wasn't there for that scene anymore.
Hmm.
And then on top of that, I really started not to like the campus. I started not to like the president and just like staff, the advisors, the professors. All of it was just not working for me personally.
Okay.
Um, and so I was set to graduate that next year, and I was like, I'm just going to stick it out for one more year.
Hmm.
I ended up going home for some reason, and didn't realize that I had a meeting that next day. And so by that next day, I'm on my way to Terre Haute, but the meeting is going on while I'm on my way there. If you miss
Right.
this meeting, you basically have to wait another 2 semesters to graduate.
Uh,
So it would have pushed me back 2 years, and
yeah.
I wasn't doing that. I wasn't staying at
Nah.
ISU for
Yeah.
that long. So I was like, okay, then that must be my sign. I gotta go. Meanwhile, everyone's like, why would you do that? You're almost done. Why would you go to
Hmm.
another school? But it's like, I felt like I'd much rather have a better education and a better experience in these last 2 years than finish out ISU. And I didn't feel like I was really prepared to go out into the real world from
Gotcha.
my experience at ISU.
Hmm.
So that's was like, okay, IPUI was always my dream school. Straight out of high school, I didn't get accepted, didn't have the best GPA, they accepted me from ISU. I took a semester off just due to just rejuvenating, transfer
Hmm.
from schools, paying off ISU and
Yep.
everything. And
Understandable.
yeah, that's pretty much the
Gotcha.
process.
Yeah, I never knew that. That's interesting. Um it can be a bit much, the that scene. I'm not super familiar. I have a couple friends that are going there. It's very interesting because most of them got like not full rides but good scholarships to that university for I don't know, business, I believe. And so they're kind of like
Hmm.
heavy in the academic scene, but they are definitely, they come back and tell me stories about the party scene there. So I can definitely see how, you know, that's interesting how it was kind of a complete mood shift for you, right? Like you were saying that
Hmm.
like you didn't really mess with the scene anymore. the president, like, you just weren't viewing like,
It was everything.
agreeing with the viewing like, the views of him, I guess? I don't
Mhm.
know. But,
It was yeah,
got you. Yeah, that's
yeah.
fair. So, talk to us a little bit. I know you said you are a director at your job. Talk to us a little bit about what you do, and also what degree are you graduating with this year?
I guess I could have mentioned that. Yeah, so I am a social work major. So I'll
Okay.
be graduating with my social work degree.
Okay. Perfect.
At my job, I am technically what they would call an interim site coordinator. So one of our site coordinators left, and they needed someone to fill the position, and they
Hmm.
felt that I was skillful enough because you have to have a degree to be in the position that I'm in.
Okay.
I don't have a degree,
Right.
but they were like, "You have the skills, you have the knowledge. You can, if you wouldn't mind, if you could jump in for us." So I've
Hmm.
been doing this since last semester,
Mm.
and so basically, I am the point of contact for the school building that I work for. I register children. I supervise staff. I I keep wanting to say I lead activities, but as a director, I don't lead them anymore. I just kind of
Mhm.
lead my staff into leading
Right,
them, if
into
that
leading
makes
them.
sense.
Got you. The overhead
Um,
person.
the overhead person. That's based. One word. I am the overhead person for my
You the
school.
boss without the degree. Look at you. You basically is what you're telling me.
Basically, yes. But yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I always that's one piece of very good advice that I got from a few professors that I got to know pretty well at Penn State was to always apply for positions even though they say you need a degree.
Mhm.
Especially within my space specifically, it's like if you have the skills that are needed for the actual job, and you can show a portfolio of how you have done that, or you worked somewhere for a semester, a couple months, and you've demonstrated that you know those skills,
Mhm.
people will hire you,
Yeah.
because they just need somebody that is gonna be able to, execute those skills, to the best of the ability, and then also be able to just handle the job without, having to hold your hand. So I always encourage you.
Mhm.
That's a cheat code in itself. Definitely always,
It
for
is.
my college folks, apply to jobs, that you have the skills for, and don't be too hesitant on the degree. I know, some jobs are like, "Oh, we need 5 years of experience." I guess a little bit much, but if the base is the degree, definitely apply to them. So,
Mhm.
I know we're talking about business, but you are also an entrepreneur yourself. So tell us a little about tell us a little bit about that journey, and, how's that going for you?
Oh, okay. So, um, so what made me so my business is called Comfort by B.
Mhm.
So initially, what made me get into this business, it was during COVID, and so my job, we weren't laid off per se, but I just wasn't getting as many hours as I would usually get because we were
Mm.
virtual. Mind you, I work at an after school program, so that's kind of hard to be virtual
Right.
and be able to get hours. And this is before I got into this position I'm in now.
Mhm.
So, um, I was like, like I just want a second source of income. I know how to sew. I took a sewing class in high school. I knew how to make pillows. So I was just thinking about all the skills because that's how people start businesses. They use their skills and they
Yeah.
make money off of it. So I was
Right.
like, what's the skill that I have? And for the longest, I was like, my only skill is working with children. And I'm like,
Mhm.
no, it can't be.
Right,
So
right.
I recalled that I know how to make pillows, and that's something that like people you don't see often is making like custom pillows for people.
Mhm.
So that's how I got into that. And then I had a friend who was a business owner, and he was just like really encouraging, like, yeah, do it, start it. And he's like really successful in his business. So he was basically like helping me through the whole process of starting one.
Yeah, that's great.
Um, so that's got started. And then I got into it and I realized I don't have the time to sew pillows and stuff
Right.
them. Like it was
Mhm.
the stuffing part of it. So I
Right.
kind of transitioned um into being more inspirational because that was really the key. I wanted to bring inspiration through my pillows. So kind
Mhm.
words and love through my pillows.
Right.
And then so I after the pillows, I transitioned into making videos and having like words, inspirational words, quotes, and videos basically.
Right.
Um, and yeah, so I am gonna do like more like bonnets and things of such like that, but that will be at a later date when I get
Mhm.
the space to do it. So
Been saying, "Need my do-rag." You've been saying a later
I
date
know.
for
I know,
I
but
get
I
it,
do
I get it.
not have the space. Some people, some business owners are really good with working what they have. I don't think I'm
Mhm.
good at that. I'm currently sewing on my dresser, and then my serger is on like little like college 3-tier drawers. It's not working for me. So I'm just waiting till I
Yeah,
can have more space to kind of cut. And I cut on my floor. It's a lot. My back be hurting. So
right.
I'm just waiting for a better space for me to get going on that. But I am still doing like my videos and my words of the week and things like that.
Mhm. Do you start that series back up? I didn't know if you
I will be starting it
Okay,
soon.
gotcha.
We've had, as you know, we've had a lot going on in the church, so it's been very
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
kind of waiting until things slow down so I can have time to really sit down and make my content.
Gotcha. Yeah, it makes sense. Like, the podcast we had a couple weeks ago, it's, obviously, the title of that podcast was "Starting a Business Isn't Easy." It's really funny how people, I think maybe that's just a me thing, but, you see these big corporations or just even smaller mom and pop businesses, that are wildly successful, and you're like, "Man, how did they get in at the right time?" And it's like, no, most of these origin stories are like, "Yo, I started in my room, I was like you said, I was
Hmm.
sewing pillows on my small little dresser." And then it's just all about, learning as you go on. And then about that timing thing, people want the results now. They don't want to work,
Hmm.
continue to work for what they actually want to do in life, and then see the progress later, within a couple of years or whatever it is. But yeah, I definitely commend you for doing that. I have been, following your journey as an entrepreneur. I'm looking. I didn't get in on the pillows while you're doing the pillows. I wanted some KX pillows, but I might have to get you when you start doing the do rags and whatever. I want one of those because eventually I'm gonna get waves here, but I don't know. I don't know when. I've
Might
been
need to
saying
come and buy
that.
me a do rag first.
I've been saying that forever as well. So we're gonna see.
Mhm.
We're gonna see. But with your business, and all, obviously, um, you were one of many that went to market your business on social media. And so my question to you is how has your perception or your relationship with social media changed during this quarantine time? And then how have you really used it to kind of be the base floor of your business?
So, social media for me, what I've learned since quarantine is hit or miss. So, quarantine was very negative. Social media is very negative, and I've realized that during current quarantine, like I'll be sitting there scrolling, and like every other tweet, every other post, it's like something negative. I'm just like, good lord! Like I
Yeah.
used to go on social media and find like funny things, like funny videos and everything, and
Mhm.
now everything is, it was just so negative, but that also was during a really negative time in the world. Like so much stuff was going on that that's
Right.
all people really wanted to post about. um
Mhm.
but on the same hand, it is really good for businesses, if you have that support, um if you have people like reposting and sharing your stuff, liking and comment. I feel like it is really good for that.
Mhm.
um but again, social media has changed a lot to where now the algorithms are like they have to be a certain way, so only certain content gets seen the most, and
Right.
certain, it's just like
Mm.
if you basically don't have a big following, or if you don't, you have to be very consistent, and you have
Right.
to really, if you want a business on social media, that has to be your full-time job.
Mhm. Yeah.
um
Eventually, for sure.
Eventually, because you have to be consistent on your posting. You have to do this, you have to do that. And it's just like, I don't remember it being that difficult. Like, I don't
Well, I
remember
mean,
it,
it
but
wasn't because it wasn't saturated. It wasn't like
right.
I really envy those people, um, and I feel like 2014 2013 to 2015 was probably, like, the prime time to, like, start a business on Instagram, YouTube, things like that, because it wasn't as saturated, and then you could also be the only you could also be the top dog in your market. So even if you weren't on top of your stuff all the time, people just knew your name and your brand. So that's where they were gonna get their stuff from. So you didn't have to be
Mhm.
advertising and doing all that. But like you're saying, um, it's basically you have to be putting out a piece of content every single day, or else you're forgotten. Like you're just
Right.
you're irrelevant. So yeah, I didn't
Right.
mean to cut you off there, but
No, because that's actually true. Like, if you don't post, you become irrelevant. Like, if there'll be times, like, if I don't post, I would go back to my business page and I've lost like 3 followers. And I'm like,
mm,
dude, like, wait a
yeah,
minute. But but yeah, that's just how I feel about that. But it does have its sweet moments. It does have its perks. Without social media,
mhm,
it would be really hard to start a small business and grow it.
right.
So
Yeah. Is that why, you kind of finding the negative light, in social media over this COVID, whatever you wanna call it, period of time, is that kinda why you centered your business around, I guess, positivity and, inspiration?
for sure.
Oh, okay.
For
Alright.
sure. So many people are just so negative and they would say things and I'm like, no, it doesn't have to be like that. Like it would be
Right.
so like they will feel almost like it would be like hopeless on their end. And
Mhm,
I'm just like, no, it's not hopelessness. Like if you look at life in this light, if you look at life in this perspective,
mhm,
it doesn't always have to be negative. It doesn't always have to be hateful or evil or like hopeless. Like, that you see, I always talk about love. I always talk about peace. I always talk about patience and everything because that's what people need. Like, I'll be scrolling through social media. I'm just like, oh, she needs patience. Oh, she
mhm.
needs some love. Oh, he needs
Yeah.
forgiveness. Like, it's just certain things. It was just like, yeah, people need to hear this. Like,
Mhm.
because it's not being said enough. I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually really love that. I think that, I think this is gonna be a perfect segue, but I think it's just a very, interesting thing, of the fact that your perspective is your reality. If you're looking at life through a negative lens and that, this is going bad, these things are hopeless, then, that's what life is gonna be to you. You're not gonna see the
Mhm.
positive in certain things. And I think that can be hard, especially, for me. I always like to be honest that I'm working through those things too. And that it's been hard for me, especially, through the COVID season, to have a positive outlook. Like, are we gonna get out of this? We're kind of being
Mhm.
dragged back into it right now, but um, just are things gonna start to kind of be more like normal? Is this are different issues in the world going to be resolved? But I think going into kind of a mental health standpoint, I think it was really positive to see
Mhm.
the positive affirmations on your channel and then just how to or your your page and just how you kind of work through what you were dealing with during this time. So um going right into that, how do you feel like what was your mental health journey during this kind of this COVID time? Or, even if you want to start between your, from the beginning of your college career to all the way to now. It doesn't have to
Mhm.
be a long drawn out spiel, but just a little bit of what you've been experiencing.
Um, so my mental health was a roller coaster. I would say it started off in high school, but it
Hmm.
got worse in college. I think it got worse because of the environment that I was in,
Hmm.
and how I kind of took to the environment
Hmm.
when I was in it.
Yeah.
So not to blame the environment, but so I took
Yeah.
into it. It made my mental health kind of go down. And then when I transferred and came back home, that kind of helped build it back up.
Hmm.
But I just go through moments of like up and downness. Basically, nothing like too severe. It's just sometimes, being stuck at home. I am a very like family person, or like I like being around
Yeah.
positive energy. So during the
There
quarantine,
you.
we didn't have any church events. We didn't have any Christmases, like family Christmas times, any
Hmm.
Thanksgivings. Like it was nothing. I was just stuck. Your viewers don't know, but I have a pink room. I was stuck in my pink room for all quarantine. Like it started to get very lonely, very depressing for me,
Mhm.
because like I love being around my family. I love being around my church family. It That stuff like really uplifts me. It helps
Right.
me grow. It helps me be better. Like even when I'm down, I know in a couple months I'm going to see somebody that is going to lift me back up. I didn't
Yeah.
have that hope. It was just straight like in
Mm.
the house, work, school, depressing.
Yeah.
Um, so when I started doing the videos, well, at the time during quarantine, I didn't start those videos. During quarantine, I was doing like inspirational quotes and like stuff like that. But
Right.
even then, that was helpful because those quotes, like I'm telling people those quotes, but then I'm like telling myself these same quotes. Like,
Right.
so
Yeah.
that helped me. That helped me as well through that. But yeah, quarantine, it was rough. It was rough for me. Yeah.
Got you. Yeah. It's an interesting time for all of us. I am I I am just worried about the generation that's even younger than us, that kinda almost didn't even it feels like didn't experience life before COVID, it's like
I
they,
know.
most of their pivotal years in determining who they are, and, I'm not saying, who am I kidding? I'm still determining who I am, but, just during the especially, like, for my sister,
Hmm.
her first year of high school was in COVID, like, it's like I ask her, "What's the favorite part of high school?" And it's like,
I
"I don't really
know.
know, I was home," or,
I was
we were
home.
wearing masks, I didn't make that many friends, and it's not
Right.
like I wasn't
Yeah.
trying to make friends, it's just the environment made it so hard to do so, but yeah, I
Hmm.
think um you spoke some real truth there in terms of like just that lack of human connection,
Hmm.
interaction, and I think that's one thing that people are really suffering through, and hopefully it's getting better with time. Obviously, for us, church events have kind of resumed, and
Hmm.
that has been a huge like lift up, to see
It
everybody
has.
and just know that people are okay and going through life,
Hmm.
and still progressing. So
It
yeah.
You had mentioned like a younger generation going through it. I like witnessed it with the kiddos I work with. So when we
Mm,
finally like we did like a student support network where we took like a few kids and we took them into the school building and we stayed with them while they were doing virtual learning.
mhm,
Mind you, I have like kindergartners, like they're having to learn their ABCs, one, two, threes, and pronouns, and they're like vocabulary words online, and they're kindergartners.
right.
So, like,
Yeah,
that they've never been to school before. This is their version of school is
that's
online. So
insane.
then when they get back into the school building, they don't know how to like act. Like it's like
Yeah,
I was just like I had to get up this early and come to school now. Like I was just
right.
online. I don't know how to interact with people. I don't know how to interact with my teachers. I don't. And then it really diminished their academic learning as well.
Mhm.
It was, they're kindergartners. It's really hard to keep a kindergartner focused 8 hours a day on a screen, but
Yeah,
everything that they're
yeah,
like needing to focus on, they need to focus on because they need to learn it. They
mhm,
can't, when you're in school, they can teach you how to write. You have
right.
that one-on-one time, you have that teacher coming over there to help you. A lot of my kiddos, they didn't know how to write their name, they didn't know letters, they didn't know numbers
Mhm,
because they're when they're at home, and the reason we did that student support network is because we work with kiddos who are in low poverty areas. So they might not have Wi-Fi, they might not have access to computers. So a lot of them were
right.
missing so much school. So we're like, bring them in, we'll have a laptop for them. They do school, but they've missed half of the semester.
Oh,
And so
that's
we're
just
having
tragic.
to like the teacher's like, hey, can you help him do this? And I'm like, he doesn't even know how to write his name. Like I I don't know. Like, but that it was just really sad to me because it's like
Mhm,
they had to go through that. There was no way around it. And it's like
right,
you wanted to keep them safe. And I totally wanted to keep them safe. But at the same time, they needed to be in that school building because they're not going to hold them back. They're going to move them forward. And so now
right.
it's always going to be like academically, they're always going to be behind. And it's
Yeah,
just
they're a
like,
little bit challenged,
darn.
and that's just rough. Now,
It
are
was.
most of the kids back in school now? Like, they're
They
um,
are.
okay,
They are. They
yeah.
started about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow. Because you all that's crazy that you all started school already. That makes sense.
We did.
Um, you
Yeah.
know, Indiana always goes back a little
Early
soon
because
for
we
me,
get
but
out.
yeah, yeah. When do you all usually get out? At the beginning of May or end of? End of May?
No, around, like, end of May. Mhm.
End of May?
End of May.
Yeah, see, I
Yep.
still think that's a bad deal. Like, we get out maybe 1st, 2nd week of June, we're like the K through 12, and then go back
Mhm.
the 1st week of
And, like, September.
September, 2nd week of September. I feel like we're getting
Feels
a few extra weeks of summer break. I don't know.
for
That's how I
sure,
always
for
felt.
sure.
But, in terms of the job you have now, and, I know you're gonna be finishing up, your degree pretty soon here. What are your plans, like, for the future? What is the dream? And then what is, the next steps that you're gonna be taking here in the next couple of years?
Okay. So, yes, some big questions here. So, with me graduating in the next year, I do have a plan. I'm not ready to express that plan just yet, but
Fair
it
enough,
is a
fair enough.
plan that I'm hoping works out for me. But I do want to start in getting into the school buildings. I don't want to stay in the school buildings. I wouldn't say that's my dream, but I
Okay.
want to start there just because I've been working there for like, I think I'm going on 3 years working in schools now.
Mm,
I
nice.
see the need for social workers. I see the need for help with these children. So I
Yes.
do want to start off just to give just to give that help for a little while.
Mhm.
Only reason I don't want to stay there is because I'm not big on waking up so early and then being there all day.
Yeah,
So I
I hear
do want
that.
to eventually get to where I kind of have my own office. You can call it a private practice, but
Mhm.
basically I'll be able to make my own appointments with families and with children,
Nice.
and have more of like that one-on-one time with
Yeah,
the families and the children and not just the child and then reporting back to the families. So
definitely.
yeah, that's my
Gotcha.
dream for now.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds great. It's definitely that one-on-one time and, whatever you want to call it, private practice or whatever. It's deemed as I think that's going to be cool for you. I can definitely see,
Hmm.
just as your friend, how you fit in that role. Perfectly.
Okay.
Really. So,
Get that.
that is let's see here. I was going to say something I just forgot. Um Yeah, I totally forgot the thought. So, transitioning gears completely here, how are you kind of feeling? I know kids are back in school and everything. How are you kind of feeling with feeling about with what's going on with COVID here, in the past few weeks? What's your feelings around that?
Cameron, I'm tired. Yeah, I'm tired. Now they talking about a new variant. I am
Yeah.
tired, let me tell you. But to me, it just is what it is. Like I just gotta stay safe, keep my
Mhm.
mask on, and just let the good Lord move his hand when he feels like it. He's gonna move it eventually, and you just gotta live through it. It's nothing you can do. Like I
Yeah.
can't spray Lysol in the air. Like I wish it could be a plane and Lysol just sprays the whole entire world, but we can't. So it's nothing I can do. I'm vaccinated. Only thing is just like um, kind of dealing with kiddos and trying to get them to understand this process. That's probably the hardest part of it because it's just like, oh, I do not
Mhm.
want to go another year of like, why do I have to
Right.
wear this mask? Why can't I lick the tables? Why can't I talk over the food? Like,
Yeah.
like COVID. And then you have to deal with, but I don't have COVID. And it's just, I
Yeah.
thought I was kind of getting away from that.
Right, right.
But it's okay. Also wanting to bring in more kiddos for our program.
Mhm.
With COVID, we can't bring in all the kiddos because it's like,
Right.
okay, 6 feet, but it's like we don't have 6 feet because we have
Yeah.
only this amount of room and
Don't
this amount
have
of
enough
kids.
space. Yep.
Right. But you can only do so much, and I can get the kids that I can get in, and just deal with them accordingly. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I hear that.
but I am tired. I
I
am
hear you.
tired.
Yeah, I'm extremely tired of it. I think that it is crazy how we still don't have people that want to get vaccinated. I'm not gonna go too into
Yeah,
that,
I
get
was gonna
political
talk
or
about it, but I
whatever,
was like,
but
I don't
you
want
know,
to
it's
get
yeah,
into
yeah,
that.
I hear you. But it's like I've just had enough of it. I'm just like, yo, whatever it is, whatever your reason may be, it's like can we just save lives here? I know, I think Sister April was saying that, over there in Arkansas, her children's hospital that she works at is like completely filled up with patients. Like they have nobody,
Mm.
they have no beds available for people, more people that are getting sick with COVID
Oh.
and the new strains, and that's really happening across the world, which is insane. Like now, we're not just affecting adults that didn't want to make that decision. We're impacting
Mhm.
children that don't have a vaccine for yet, that didn't really have a choice, and
Yeah.
so if people aren't waking up off of that, I don't know, but I'm gonna just pray about
Yeah,
it and
not vaccinated, not want to wear a mask. I just don't know. Don't
yeah, yeah.
understand. I just don't
It kinda
understand, but
is
it's
what it
okay.
is. Yeah,
It is.
yeah, it's,
It is.
it's also interesting in terms of the college, aspect. Um, I was very intrigued that, like, Penn State University is requiring, masks again. They're asking for vaccinations. They can't require you to have a vaccination, but
Mhm.
you will still have to wear, like, a mask and whatever if you aren't vaccinated, so you do have to prove that you're vaccinated if you wanna be able to do
Mhm.
certain things and engage in certain events. So I think that's gonna be kinda controversial. We'll see, how that
For
that
sure.
goes
It
over.
already is. For
But,
sure.
yeah, I'm hoping that, I'm hoping people can kinda come to their senses and just make whatever
Mhm.
choices is right, to keep other people safe. That if that's you don't wanna get vaccinated, that's fine, but then also,
Right.
not coming to social events. It's like, yo,
Right.
to me, it's simple, but, people have their reasons, and it's gonna be
Right.
justified to them no matter what you tell them. So,
Right.
um, very
It's
interesting.
okay. I'll keep getting my pimples from this mask. I'll go another year.
Right, yeah.
It's all
Yeah,
right.
that's
And they just
horrible.
have that what is it called? Lollapalooza event.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were there
Oh, really?
unmasked, unvaccinated. I was just
Yeah.
like, "Ugh, how can I couldn't even do that. Like if I forget my mask, I'm in the store, I'm like with my shirt on my nose. Like I cannot.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
having
cannot.
having had COVID myself, I'm like, "Yo, I'm not trying to get that again, even being
Mm-mm.
vaccinated or whatever," but, interesting. Interesting. Well,
Yeah.
I just wanna take this time, to before we wrap up here, I wanna take the time to say I appreciate you coming on the podcast. I know you're working, you're a busy woman, and I appreciate you just taking out the time. I'm sorry I had to cancel on you yesterday, um,
It's fine.
but,
It's
yeah,
fine.
just
I
things
appreciate you
happen.
having me. I was like, "Well, okay, got everyone. Wait on my turn."
Right, right, right. No, wait.
No, I'm kidding. Thank you
Yeah,
for
it's
having
it's
me.
funny. It's funny because Gabby had hit me up when like right before her episode. She didn't know like I was gonna tell her that she was gonna be on the show or whatever. In
Mhm.
the next couple of days, and she was like, "Oh, when am I gonna be on?" And I was like, I showed her the list of people I have lined up for the next couple of months, and she was the next one. So I was like, I'm getting
Aw.
everybody. I'm getting everybody. But yeah. Definitely great to have you on. Um, and before we do get into the Cam cheat code of the week, where can the people find you on your? You can either just list your business if you want to list your personal, whatever social
Mhm.
media you say. I will put down in the description.
So you can find my business page with my nice videos and quotes and
Mhm.
words of the days at underscore comfort by D. And then if you my personal page, nothing really there, but if you want it underscore Queen Damaris,
Gotcha.
yeah, I think those are the two ones that you can find me at.
All right. Definitely. If you want to check out the Comfort by D, definitely go to the description and it'll be down there for you. All right. So you know the drill. What is one piece of advice, or a couple of pieces of advice, that you would give to college students anywhere from the range of like 15 to like 25, of that you have experienced in your journey of college and working and business and relationships, whatever it is. What is one piece of advice that you feel would be really beneficial to the viewers of Camp Chronicles?
Um, I would say always take care of yourself and love yourself. Always be confident in yourself. whatever you want to do, you do it. It don't matter how anyone feels about it. It doesn't matter if someone's going to talk about you. It doesn't matter if it don't matter. Do what you want to do. Love yourself. Be confident in whatever you do. Things are going to be bad. Bad things are going to happen. Negative
Right.
things are going to happen, especially when you're in college and you're working. Things are going to happen, but don't let that discourage you from keep moving forward. Like, yeah, maybe you need to take a pause, take a little break. That's fine, but don't
Mhm.
stop forever. Keep going because there's always light on the other side, but only if you work for it. It's not going to just come to you. The light's not going to walk to you. You have to go to it. But if you stop and you don't keep going, then you'll never find the light. You'll never find the positive side of things. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Love yourself. Take care of yourself. Do what you want to do. Wear what you want to wear, um, and just always keep going, no matter what happens in life.
Yeah, I think that's great advice as always. I really resonate with that part about doing what you want to do, even if you believe that other people are going to make fun of you. It's like like you said, things are going to happen. Bad things are going to happen. People are going to say things. They're going to speak their mind, no matter what you do. Even if you try to cater to them perfectly, they're still going to speak their opinion.
Hmm.
And it can be helpful or hurtful. But relating to that personally, even with the YouTube. I mean, I definitely started YouTube pretty early, not necessarily this channel, my other channel, but um I could have started that in 2015 or 2016 when that
Hmm.
content, that I make over there was actually blowing up. But I was too afraid of what people were going to say about me and if people were
Right.
going to make fun of me
Hmm.
because it wasn't cool to have a YouTube in 2015 unless you had 100,000, or a million subscribers
Right.
already and
Hmm.
people, knew you and you were a household name already. So, yeah,
Hmm.
thank you so much for that advice.
You're
But yeah,
welcome.
thank you for coming
I can
on.
relate to that too. When I started doing my
Oh,
videos, I
got you.
was
Yeah.
nervous.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, people are gonna be like, this is so corny. But I did it and whatever, because it's
yeah.
gonna reach somebody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I remember you hitting me up and because or maybe I hit you up, but just about the being uncomfortable in front of the camera. It's
oh
weird
yeah, oh my
recording
gosh.
yourself, at first when you
It
start
is.
to get into this, um can be a weird
It was
relationship
so
and
corny.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But
Definitely, definitely, but from other people's it's like, if you think about it, you watch people do it all the time. It's just you don't see that
hmm.
awkward, you don't see that awkward engagement that they have where they're just in a room talking to themselves.
Right.
Um,
Well, you do
but
great, and I'm really proud of your podcast. I told you, your voice is like very soothing. It's perfect podcast voice. And everyone has a good podcast voice.
Right, right.
You do. But
I
you're doing
gotta
really great, and I'm proud of you. So keep
I
going.
appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I can't take all the credit for the voice. I got me a good, pretty good mic here, but
Microphone.
I appreciate it nonetheless. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this. What did I say? Episode 23 of Camp
Three.
Chronicles. You all make
Mhm.
sure to subscribe to the channel if you liked a couple of the podcasts. Go check out a few more of the podcasts if this is your first one. See if you actually like the content, and then give me a subscribe if you really enjoy the content and you're finding value. And then also smash the like button down below. Definitely helps out the channel. And if you wanted to comment about anything that we talked about in this conversation, let us know down below in the comment section, and I'll definitely have a reply for you. So, with all that being said, thanks again, Damaris, for coming on, and I will see you all next week. Peace out.
Bye.